Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about um, Dungeons and Dragons and a modern revelation. And this is going to be a channel-specific video. I am defining a term within this video, so I want to talk about the modern revelation. All right, so I have a completely unique view of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm trying to sell it to you. I want you to see the truth about Dungeons and Dragons. So here we go. Here's what, in my humble opinion, is the truth about Dungeons and Dragons. It was never a game. It wasn't a game on day one. It was not a game on. Uh, it was not a game on day now, and it will never be a game. It is a human improvement engine designed by Gary Gygax to fundamentally improve, grow, and transform every single human being who sits down to a Dungeons and Dragons table, and to improve them as people. Right. So I don't have, and that mean that the ramifications of that are massive. One, it means that we're not sitting down to the play table to have fun, and this is a frightening, terrifying, highly offensive opinion to a lot of people, because they're like, oh wait, I'm sitting down for fun. This is my leisure. This is my entertainment, and I don't want any responsibility. Okay, so all right, if you believe what I believe, right, then there are ramifications of that, right? Now, I also am saying that Gary Gygax hid this, right? He hid a human improvement engine in a game. He did it on purpose, right? And that served a purpose. It served a very important purpose from 1974 to 2008, okay? And I think it needed to remain hidden before that time. Now, when was this truth discovered, in my humble opinion? This truth was discovered around 2016, right? By me. I one day I was like, wait a second, what? Wait, and I wasn't the only one. There were a ton of people going, why do we keep calling this a game? Nobody wins, nobody loses. It has no ending. It has no board. Why is this a game? Also, no game in the world has ever connected its lore to 100 intellectual properties. No game in the world has ever had multiple blockbuster Hollywood films. This doesn't look or act or feel like a game, right? And in 2016, I was like, oh my gosh. And what opened this truth for me was looking at Gary's history. So he was born in 1938. And then he witnessed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and he knew that humanity needed to be fixed, right? And so once I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, he hid a human improvement engine. And in my opinion, he built this to directly compete, and in my humble opinion, replace the couch scribbler discipline, right? And the self-help book industry. Like, he was like, people need real help. The couch scribbler discipline, in my humble opinion, I think he understood that the couch scribbler discipline would only help people who had $200 an hour to ask a question and get answered with a question, which is every person in Hollywood, New York, and Miami, but not the rest of the world, right? So, and I was like, and Gary was a working man, and he wanted a solution that real humans could really use, right? And so he built Dungeons and Dragons to do this, okay? Now, this secret started on February 7th, 1974, day one of Dungeons and Dragons, and I have that date based on what I read in the Making of Dungeons and Dragons 1970 to 1978, which was produced in 2024. You should definitely read it. It is 500 pages long. Good luck. Okay, so catch up. All right. So, all right. Okay, so let's talk about the modern revelation. So what is the modern revelation? Well, it's where we are now, right? It began on 2008, right? Once Gary died. I think once he died, he didn't need to speak with his living mouth anymore. He could speak with his dead mouth. And Gary is saying more with his legacy today than he ever said when he was alive. Gary Gygax speaks from the grave every day. His legacy is far more profound and far more lasting than what he did when he was alive, right? And really, you can hear him more clearly today, in my humble opinion, right? So basically, you have this situation, and he dies, right? Now, at this point, he doesn't need to hide this anymore, and the reason why is Dungeons and Dragons is at scale. He doesn't need to hide that Dungeons and Dragons is a game. and we can embrace it for what it is. And I have already started, and I'm asking you to join me in the modern revelation. So the modern revelation is no longer talking about Dungeons and Dragons as a game, but as a human improvement engine, right? Now, I do think we can still allow it needs to function as a game, right? And the reason why is it's man, I know I'm gonna get comments for this. It's exactly like a religion, right? Who understands that Dungeons and Dragons is not a game? Well, it's a remnant, right? Go listen to B. Dave Walters. You know what he just said? He said, Dungeons and Dragons, when you tell the story, in every way that really matters, it's real. He's saying it flat out. Like, he's like, this ain't a game. Like, what's happening at my table? I'm evoking emotion, right? That's real, right? And he's like, the narrative is real, right? He's like, you can't put my stuff in a box. You can't call my stuff leisure and entertainment. I'm trying to change people. I'm trying to make people feel things. And when people really feel things, they change, right? Knowledge can be ignored. Emotion can't, right? You cannot ignore emotion, right? You will be changed. And I think at B. Dave Walters' table, and so there's this remnant. There's me, there's B. Dave Walters. Joe Manganiello said that he was using Dungeons and Dragons to have elevated conversations with people who had transformed their lives with Dungeons and Dragons, and consequently the society around them. He said that on D&D Direct. That's a profound statement that has nothing to do with gaming, right? Like, that's like, it sounds like religious talk, right? Like, because it is, right? It's being revealed, right? Now, this is not a sacred text. It is a secular change in humanity, and it has to do with our evolution, right? So really, it's an incredibly profound, really wonderful change in society, and it is a big major change, right? So really fascinating, really an incredible change. And the modern revolution is from 2008 on. Now that Gary's dead, nobody needs to pretend anymore. We can accept Dungeons and Dragons for what it is, a powerful human improvement engine rather than a game, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more and absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.